Welcome back to Dream Funders. I'm Melissa Fraser coming to you from the top floor of the Fraser History Museum in downtown Louisville.
An army of shadows patrolling the inside of the house.
The museum is one of Louisville's true gems, which has some incredibly rare artifacts, ranging from Geronimo's bow and arrows to Teddy Roosevelt's rifle, known as the Big Stick.
There are very few places in America where you can go and see these kind of artifacts, and this is just in the General Museum. One of the things that we're very proud of here is that you can come here and see exhibits that you can't see anywhere else in the world.
And while the museum showcases history, it also has a keen eye on the future.
So the Fraser History Museum celebrates those great American stories that have made America what it is today, and still at its core promotes tolerance, promotes cross-cultural understanding, and showcases really how the past is relevant to today.
Today on Dream Funders, we're hearing from a pair of local entrepreneurs who hope to make a future for themselves with a smartphone repair business. Earlier, Gil and Jared all but destroyed a phone belonging to one of our investors.
Because this is an ever-present problem in our society.
Can they put the phone back together? And more importantly, can they put together a deal for funding? We're about to find out.
So we're here today seeking $75,000 for 10% equity stake in the company. So right now, if you imagine a $1 bill, about 40% of that goes to our parts cost. Our labor is paid by commission, so I know how much we're making for this service as we go out the door. They use their own cars and their own gas. So we pay about 25% of that dollar out to them. We have a small supply cost and merchant fees, about 5%, and we target our customer acquisition cost of 15 cents on the dollar or less. We feel that we've proven this concept over 1,200 customers in this market. We want to target Cincinnati and Indianapolis. There's a reason behind that. Our B2B customers, which I'll discuss in a moment, have asked us to move into Cincinnati. We've also developed a very tight relationship with our parts supplier. In 2 years, we've become the 6th largest buyer of these parts in the state of Kentucky. They want to make more sales. They like our model. They want us to go to Indianapolis and Cincinnati because it's an attractive market opportunity. They're willing to also begin to extend credit for these parts to us if we move into those markets.
For you to move into Cincinnati, what's involved in that? Do you need a brick and mortar location? Can you?
Absolutely not. We have no retail locations available, so we are completely 100% on site. Tablets are next day, so we pick up and redeliver. We have a small lab here in the city of Louisville that's been able to service what we have now and be able to service more into the future. We're wanting to make the lab here, which is a part of the reason we're asking for the funds, kind of a mothership, or the Falcon's Nest as we call it. So that allows us to be able to do more sophisticated repairs. Again, another portion of the ask is some equipment. What it takes to expand into the city is actually very simple. What we've found is we have 4 technicians here in the city, 2 of their college kids, right out of college. They're willing to go up for a week up to Cincinnati. All we have to do is copy our digital marketing campaign, change the zip codes, and begin receiving telephone calls.
Your cost. I think you started on that a little bit earlier as far as your repair cost compared to what you charge, your profit margin on that. Could you outline a little bit more your cost, material cost, and the contract? Yeah,
so let's dip back into that. So what, about 40% for parts, about 25% for labor, that's 65%. So you add about 5% for merchant fees and some small supply. With that, we're able to either take a lot of that or add it to our customer acquisition cost. So you're looking about a 30% minus the customer acquisition
Gil,
cost.
I hate to cut you off, but I really need to apologize to someone really
Why
fast.
Why is
that? Well, I fixed it for you, so no hard feelings?
No, I guess not. Looks like it's working.
We would charge $120 for that. So he's roughly made, if that's about 5 minutes, about $20 a minute that we're on site. Most of our appointments do last about 25 minutes. So the tech, honestly, they do a lot of driving around, but we do have some software systems that we're building that cluster our appointments. Something else that we have that our competitors will not is a 24-hour call center. We are setting that up with a center in South Carolina to be able to take calls 24/7. Right now I'm taking the calls and talked over 1,000 customers, and they call me all hours of the night, even 2 in the morning. We get some waiters and waitresses that get off, they drop it during their shift. They need it fixed.
I have an interest in 2 cell phone stores and computer stores in the Lexington area, and if you are willing to take over the position of the present operating partner, I'd be willing to do the whole $75,000 for 20 or 25%.
So we have an offer here.
I would find that very interesting and would love to hammer out the details with you.
All right, that's good. Thank you.
No problem.
What a night! It looks like both the guys from Foam Falcon and Unmanned Services have some good ideas that might just be ready to take flight. The future is looking bright. That's all the time we have for this edition of Dream Funders. On behalf of all of the funders, the dreamers, and the whole crew behind the scenes, I'm Melissa Fraser, and we'll see you next time on Dream Funders.